Proud to be part of the TalkSPORT Fan Network.
TalkSPORT. Powered by fans.
Styles with the save. To the second here. A classic counter-attack and gives way. Puts Nottingham Forest 2 ahead. Here's one. 1-0 Forest. Sangare has made an even bigger difference there. Nottingham Forest have snatched the lead at Anfield.
Hello, welcome to this edition of Red Side of the Trent, here to bring you more match review from our win against Brentford in the opening day of the season. I hope you all enjoyed our new intro. Thank you to Jimmy Nallen, who goes by Nottingham Tunes on Twitter. All good stuff in our description, does amazing stuff. Also got a special one for when we play those European nights on a Thursday. So hope you all stick around to see that. Joined by Christian Brown and Lee Clarke, who couldn't make yesterday. Guys, how are we? First of all, Christian, start with yourself.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Very good. Always nice after a win, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Lee Clarke, are you well?
Yeah, very good. I put this shirt on in honour of 4 years to the day since Philip Zinkenagel scored his first goal. So,
yes, that was on this day special. I mean, Chris Hughton era will be long forgotten when we're winning European titles again, if Marinakis got anything to do with it anyway. Yesterday was a great day, obviously. Brilliant in the NAFs. Both great. It's great to see you both. Obviously, Christian, you bought your good lady for the first game ever at the City Ground. I mean, what a treat it really was. I mean, thoughts on the game?
Yeah, we were really good. There's no getting. I mean, again, it's typical of Forest, isn't it? We're not allowed nice things either by ourselves or by the wider media, because obviously we've absolutely swept away a Brentford team who it's felt like for years could play a bunch of under-11s and still find a way to get something against Forest, such as their like bogey nature for us. We've absolutely battered them in 45 minutes, and somehow the focus has gone from Forest for actually looking quite good and having all the ball to, how bad are Brentford, aren't they? It's just typical the way it goes. But no, we were brilliant yesterday. Even second half as well. It just kept them at arm's length, resting players while on the pitch. Had we continued in the same vein as the first, it could have been 8 or 9. Not even exaggerating. It was men against boys that first half. So yeah, really, really pleased with how we started the season. And again, goes to show, all the people getting knickers in a twist over pre-season and how we weren't scoring goals. That's why you pay no attention to it. They're training exercises. They always have been. They always will be. You cannot correlate the two. Relax.
Can't wait to revisit this next season. Lee, I mean, thoughts on yesterday? A cracking win, as Christian just said.
Yeah, I'm just going to touch on Christian's last point as well. All those people who get the knickers in a twist about the transfer situation. The reason we've not splashed out before this weekend is for 2 reasons: the European competition that we didn't know we were going to be in, and the fact that our first 11 is very bloody good, as we saw yesterday, with just one change from pretty much the team that lost to Chelsea on the last game of last season. So, yeah, I enjoyed the game. I mean, probably the most enjoyable performance for me since we got promoted. Just in terms of how we played, the way we kept the ball, we were strong in possession, which I always thought whenever teams, sort of towards the end of last season, when teams gave us the ball, we looked really awkward with it. Yesterday, everyone just looked like they'd gone up 10-15%. Really, really positive.
Do you even like say that over like Brighton 7-0, City 1-0, and those games from last season? Then,
yeah. I mean, I don't clearly beating anyone 7-0 is great. You enjoy it, but I think we all looked at that team and thought that Brighton picked that day and thought they're in a bit of trouble here. They played a 19-year-old in midfield on his own, which was just bizarre. Not that I expected to win 7-0. And of course, it's enjoyable when it's going in, but I think it was the fact that even though Brentford have had a summer of turmoil, it's still the first game of the season, and you saw in the tunnel that they still look bang up for it. The players that they picked, they still look bang up for it, and you can say that's bravado, mind games, psychology, that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's just first game of the season. It's a clean slate for every team. So they'd have fancied coming to us, and they'd have seen playing Forest away as a good time to play Forest away, because we've got no home form to call upon. So yeah, I think that's probably why I'd see it as. And you've got to look at things like the Liverpool at home game in the first season. With all due respect to that game, I mean, Liverpool had chances to win it. Same with the City 1-1. City could have battered us that day if Haaland was in his usual form. So it's just a different sort of enjoyment. It was just an enjoyable moment to actually. I thought it was quite exciting that we had pretty much one new signing, one came off the bench, and there's all these other players now coming in that are going to add to that group. And yeah, it's just, I think that was what made it so enjoyable, really.
Yeah, just to touch on before we get into the game, I completely forgot yesterday, and I should have brought it up yesterday, so I do apologise to anyone that watches regular and wondered why. We got tagged in a post about the minute silent, obviously, for Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva. Now, I'm not a massive fan of minute silence when this sort of thing occurs with people or whatever. I'd rather do the minutes applause because of what happened yesterday. I mean, Christian, Liverpool aside, whatever, this is something that goes past football. I just feel like it was a little bit embarrassing and cringy, and I understand that some people were a bit annoyed because Terry Hennessy didn't get honoured an ex-club captain, but maybe the club have got a different idea for that, and this weekend was solely around Jota's situation. I mean, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? 'Cause, I mean, like you said, it does go beyond football. This is someone's son, this is someone's husband, this is someone's father that's gone. I get the Terry Hennessy frustration, of course, but that's a separate issue. I agree with you. It should be a minute's applause for ages because it just prevents this from happening. I mean, even when it's like, even when it's armistice, it's sort of like little thing at the back of your head. It's like, please, no one do anything. And obviously, while I was saying this on the way back, actually, while you get people who, they think they're doing the right thing by saying, "Oh, shut up, shut up, shut up," by doing that, they're making the situation worse. And it's just like, oh God, just stop. But how hard could it be just to keep quiet for 60 seconds? It really isn't difficult. And like I said, like a few idiots have just basically tarred the whole fan base with this brush of being disrespectful and whatever else. It's just like, it's really frustrating. It's a poor look for the club. It's a poor look for us as fans. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it should be a minute's applause. I think that way you can't really, everyone does it, and it's sort of, there's never really any issues when that happens. Yeah, it really wasn't a good look yesterday. There's no getting around it.
Yeah, I mean, Lee, anything to add to that? Of course, Christian nailed it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the way society's gone in general, isn't it? There's too many people who can't handle the beer, and that's from someone who's not boring with beer. I like a drink, but I can also be quiet for 60 seconds without. It's just pathetic. It's just I totally get the Terry Hennessy thing. Like I said in the group chat, surely the club will do something for him. But regardless of what you think, any 28-year-old dying is still a pretty tragic situation. And clearly the Premier League clubs had come together to do their own. Dare I say, next week it'll probably be the same, because I think everyone will do it at their first home game, won't they? So it's probably going to be the same next weekend. Yeah, it's an awful look for the club. I actually thought the referee did quite well before he'd even started his season, because there was no way we were quiet for a minute. I think he heard what was going on and just hit the whistle and killed it, and jobs are good and let's get on with playing football, because you clearly can't behave yourself for 1 minute. So, yeah, just disappointing. I mean, I know a Brentford fan who was in the Brentford, and he managed to get some pictures. He said he was going to forward them on. So if anything can be done, and anything, if we can prove who was responsible, then I think we'd all agree as a 99% of the people that were in the ground yesterday that he probably wouldn't be welcome again, to be fair, because like Christian's just said, it's 1 minute that you've got to be quiet, regardless of how you feel about it. Also, yeah, why not go on Twitter and just say, "Oh, why didn't we do anything for Terry Hennessy?" instead of shouting it during that 1 minute where you're supposed to be quiet. Like I say, just buffoons.
Yeah, I mean, it took a little bit of shine off the first game of the season, but to be fair, the team rectified that very, very quickly, and with a performance. I mean, unbelievable game. I thought midfield ran it from start to finish. I mean, Christian, we all wondered what formation was going with. I think it was kind of a Nuno smokescreen those last two friendlies. We said this yesterday on the pod after the game, that he'd go 4-2-3-1. There was really no other choice, to be honest. And I mean, it proved dividend. And that interview he had in midweek where he was a bit worried, I don't think he'd be that worried at the moment, really, should he?
it's a strange one because I mean Nuno is very honest. He always has been very honest. Like we've seen that he's not like Cooper, for example, where Cooper would say a player's injured and he's not, and he mysteriously starts on a Saturday or whatever. That Nuno is pretty factual. He's very what he says is more than off what it is. So for him to come out with that, I thought there was an element of truth behind it. I also wonder if there was a way of him maybe taking the pressure off the players a little bit ahead of today, yesterday, sort of saying, look, like everyone's expecting us to fail, this, that, and the other. I'll just say we're all terrible and it'll be fine. And it worked. No, I mean, I thought again we were brilliant. The midfield it was weird because like it felt like Gibbs White had a very much of a free role. It was sort of a 4-2-3-1 out of possession. It would turn to a 4-3-3 at different points where Anderson was drifted to the left, Gibbs White more out to the right. Obviously, Sangare as a base, holding everything together, knitting everything together, stopping everything that came through. Again, he was tremendous yesterday, Sangare, absolutely tremendous yesterday. And I know the penalty will probably, well, even despite the penalty, he's still a man of the match conversations for me. But him and Anderson look like they've been playing together for years. They look like they just like complement each other absolutely perfectly. And yeah, it was just really good to see. I think I saw some saying in the comments up. It's some of the best football we've seen at the club since. I mean, it was the first time we've had more possession. I think it was 54% possession. I think we had yesterday, which is the highest we've had since we beat West Brom 4-0. But obviously, you have to remember West Brom were down to 10 men after about 20 minutes in that game when we won that 4-0. So yeah, it was hugely impressive. It shows sign of evolution, and as you said before, Adam, about being a double threat, a team that can sit back and counter. And as we saw for the third goal, we were just ready and just placed, able to put Wood through like that. Again, fantastic ball from Anderson, but also a team that can go on the front foot and make chances and score, as we did from the second goal especially. So yeah, really, really pleased with what I saw yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, Lee, I wasn't expecting us to get quite off the mark so quickly after a less than exciting pre-season. Chris Wood obviously continuing from where he left off. He's abandoned them banana boots from last season, which I'm absolutely delighted about. I mean, it was a Crest laces finish into the corner there. I mean, it was quite funny because I said this yesterday. I watched Brentford defend set pieces in the warm-up, and they got a set piece coach as their manager. And I mean, I think every single set piece that Brentford had yesterday, defending or attacking, were awful. Were dreadful, honestly. But yeah, Chris Wood, let's talk about him.
Yeah, well, you've come to the right person. I mean, I've stuck up for Chris Wood from day one, as I'm always keen to remind everyone on this podcast. Yeah, some said on social media that we should sell him this summer. I mean, as Reece always reminds me, it's not a true barometer of the actual fan base, so I'll quickly move on from that. Yeah, brilliant. What a player he's become. Who did he overtake yesterday? Giroud and Marcus Rashford for Premier League goals, was it?
And the mighty James Beattie.
James Beattie, yeah.
James Beattie, yeah, quite. So similar to James Beattie, I suppose, in style, obviously much better. Yeah, brilliant. Can't speak highly enough of him. Just when you think he's going to have that season where he goes on the decline, and I mean, when we talk about 20 goals again this season, he might decline on that a little bit, but he doesn't look like a player that's on the decline, does he? He's come back fit again. He looks strong, gets into good areas. I mean, there's some really good footage from. Apologies for not naming him because I can't remember who it was on. It's doing the rounds on social media where it's like it's from the angles from the upper Bridgeford before Anderson kicks it. Wood's on his bike already. He knows it's coming, so he's not. That's not the brain of a 33-year-old footballer who's on the decline. He's still sharp mentally as well as physically. So yeah, we might have signed a striker today, but he's not getting in the team anytime soon over Wood just yet.
Yeah, I mean, let's have that discussion actually. Like, so we've signed 2 strikers this window, guys, and Chris Wood's gone, stuck 2 fingers up to both of them, and gone. I'm this is my shit at the moment. Like, you're gonna have to do a lot to get off of it. I mean, how difficult it's going to be for. I mean, I know Colin Window would have been in the crowd yesterday. Obviously, you got Jesus been here for a little while. They're going to think, well, one, it's a good thing because it's competition, but 2, an experienced player to learn off for definite.
Massively, yeah. I mean, I think I completely agree with Lee. Some of the things I've read about Woods this last few weeks have just blown my mind in terms of just the sheer incredulity. Only Forest could have a 20-goal Premier League striker and somehow find the way to knock him. I was saying to Dad yesterday, I was like, if you want to get a 20 goal, box fresh 20 goal Premier League striker just to replace Chris Wood, you're looking at 100 million minimum. Because the only ones I can think of are Isak and what's it? Haaland. All right, cool.
You nearly forgot that man's name.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's just go out and buy one of them, then, shall we? I'm sure they'd love to come to Nottingham Forest. It's just the classic thing, isn't it? We always sort of like hammer what we've got and expect more, and then when they go, it's like, oh, they're actually quite good, weren't they? Grab and got it all the time. It's just we're sort of seeing it again now with Wood. It's really it's quite funny, really. But no, I thought it's an interesting point you make about keeping your shirt. I noticed there's a few players out there who look like they were like, this is mine, I'm keeping this, especially in the midfield area, especially with Sangare, and well, I suppose Anderson's pretty much a lock anyway, but you wouldn't have thought it the way he played. Like, again, he was determined to make every single second he count. Obviously, I'm sure the players were aware of who's coming in. I mean, obviously, Kalimuendo's now signs, McAtee's now signs, obviously Hutchinson signs. The wingers be aware of that. Douglas Luiz has been in and out the door for the last 3 weeks, by the sounds of things, depending on what Italian press you read. And the midfield gave a response to that. And it's good. Having competition like that is good. I mean, it will elevate your game. I mean, it's funny because we had this with Miguel, didn't we? We signed Miguel, and we were saying on this at one point after the Brighton game last season, like, should Miguel be replacing Sells? And then Sells churns out being the best goalkeeper in the league. I think we sort of underestimate just how important it is to have quality players in every position that will push you all the way to get the very best out of your game, because they'll want that show more than anything else, and you've got to play tremendously well to keep it. That's the pressure, that's the stakes, that's what you get paid for. So yeah, it'd be interesting what we do. Obviously, we know Nuno experimented with a 2 in pre-season quite a lot up front. How that worked could be quite interesting. I imagine we could go for 4-3-1-2 on some occasions. I imagine that might be Sangare, Anderson and Luiz, assuming we get him. And then Gibbs White behind, say, I don't know, Wooden's Kalimuendo. That's quite an exciting prospect, with Kalimuendo basically being like Alanga was last season, sort of going on either flank, which is what he can do. He can play across the whole forward line with pace. So, yeah, I think more importantly, it gives so much more options. Like, you can see the bench looked quite. That was the only sort of minor worry for me going into the game when I saw the teams. Was like, I looked at the first 11 for both and thought, okay, we've got enough there to beat these. And as it turned out, it was like, a championship team in the cup coming to the Premier League game and getting blown away. But there was that sort of lingering thing that if Forest do a Forest and don't make hard work of it, what's coming off the bench? You've got 4 centre-backs on there. You've got a striker that we've all actively agreed as a fan base we love to pieces, but it's probably best he moves on. You've got a forward who's halfway out the door going back to Portugal. There wasn't really a lot of options there if Forest were chasing the game. Can't say that now. I mean, with the options Nuno's got, he's going to be sport for choice, and it's going to be such a big headache for him to get it all to work. But how exciting is that? Because we can be last season, we were very predictable. We knew towards the end of the season, as we saw, last 4 home games especially, set off Forest, given the ball, they won't score. Yesterday, we saw every, like Lee touched upon, every time we had the ball, there was a purpose. There was a plan. There's a purpose. If one area was shut off, right, okay, we'll try this. If that's not on, we'll try this. If that's not on, okay, we'll recycle it back here and try this. There was always a forward-thinking thought yesterday, and that's what really pleased me the most. So yeah, the more tactical flexibility we can give him, the better. And these new signings will certainly help with that.
Yeah, we're going to go to some comments. I mean, David's put a really good question. I'll ask that in a minute. Lee, with Woody, I mean, he's 9 goals off being a Centurion. I mean, I've said this yesterday. He could do that in the next 4 games if it falls well for him. He could have scored a hat trick yesterday if Nathan Collins' leg, didn't extend go gadget kind of thing. I don't know how he did that, to be honest, but he was sublime. And I think it was the Premier League that posted that video, by the way, from Upper Bridge. That's where it appeared from. But I mean, even the finish was still unbelievable. I was like, is he going to slot it? Is he going to take it round him? And he took it round him, and it was easy. But he'll get there. He'll definitely get to 100. I don't know how many he'll score this season. I know we're saying will he get less than 20, but at least the pressure is a little bit off him. But he'll want to keep that shirt with them 2 coming in now.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no pressure on him. He's just scored 20 goals. I mean, he's got credit in the bank for the whole season for me. I mean, the thing, like Christian's just alluded to, the thing that every player is going to be aware of now, with the exception of the fullbacks at the minute, because, I mean, they turn up and train, they can train how they want all week at the minute because they're going to play. Not that they're not going to do that, but you get what I'm getting at. But yeah, everyone in the attacking areas certainly will be turning up thinking, right, I need to keep doing my job because there's someone wanting my shirt now. So yeah, Wood's probably going to get to, if he stays fit, you would fancy him with the players that are going to be teeing him up now. And with the form that Gibbs White and Anderson were in yesterday, he's going to get loads of chances to score. So yeah, there'll be certain fans who still want to nitpick at the chances he misses rather than the two he's scoring a game. But yeah, you'd fancy him to get to 100. I mean, he'll go past some really big names then, I should imagine. Not that Oliver Giroud's not a big name, but you know what I mean. But yeah, he should get there. I can't see any reason why he wouldn't.
Definitely. I mean, so David's put this. What's your boys' thoughts on Big T with Callum Mwendo signing today? Mark Sutherland's, that is from Forest Focus, earlier reckons he could stay due to squad depth in Europe this season. Do you think he stays or goes? Lee, I'll stick with you. What's your answer to that?
He's another one, isn't he? I mean, he's just had that serious injury. Looks like he's looked after himself. I'll be brutally honest with you. I think a lot of our signings have been what I'd call succession signings. So if players were sold, they're ready to. We haven't got to go out and spend the money now. So obviously Wood's not going to be sold, but when Wood calls time on his career in a couple of years, Callum Mwendo will be the first choice. If he's not already, that is. Obviously, McAtee looks tailor-made to replace Gibbs White if we're in the same situation in 12 months' time and someone wants to pay us between 80 and 100. I just potentially think now we've qualified for Europe that we've maybe outgrown Big T a little bit. I think he's at the age where he'll want to play week in, week out. He'll want to be that main man that he was at Union Berlin, and he's never going to get that. I mean, what I would say is I'd be curious to see what our plans are for Jesus. Is he going to be the sort of utility man in that front three that can come on wherever he's needed rather than actually being the backup for... I think if he was going to be the backup for Wood, why have we gone out and signed Callum Mwendo? Because the season's not even started yet and we've signed him well. You know what I mean? Before it was all agreed and everything. So I just sense that he might be a little bit more of a work in progress, a bit of a project. So yeah, I suppose that the guy who said that on Forest Focus could have a point. But does Big T want another season being that player, that sort of reserve? I'm not sure he does. But the issue he's going to have then is someone's got to come in and want to sign him, I guess. And I'm not sure, just with what he's done in the last 2 seasons, with his injuries and his fitness and all the other bits and pieces, I'm just not sure that there'll be a queue of clubs for him, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think them 3 strikers that we just spoke about do all something different. Wood's your poacher. Igor Jesus looks like a link-up man, can drop deep, could play with his back to goal, as we've seen in the Club World Cup against PSG and that. Callum Mwendo looks like more of your like Jermaine Defoe type, where he's going to run channels, he's going to do whatever and score goals from creating stuff on his own type striker. So Big T, I find that difficult unless we are going to play a bit of a more of a 4-4-2 on like when we're chasing a game. Maybe that's where Nuno sees that we've got to have options to chase the game if we're behind, because we were the worst team for it. Like Christian mentioned, like once we go in front, we look good for a win. But going behind last season was our major Achilles heel because we just could never chase. We was rubbish at it, to be quite frank, because we didn't know what to do. Yesterday showed a different side of our coin. Maybe we'll have a dice by the end of the season where we've got several different ways of playing football. So we'll see. I mean, what's your answer, Christian? Do you think T goes?
I've said before, like, there's nothing I'd love more than seeing Taiwo be a valuable asset to Forest, even if he's just like coming off the bench and he gets like 5 to 7 goals in all comps. That'd be really good. Like that'd be showing his worth to the team and whatever else. I just don't. Would he want that? I mean, I don't know. Part of me feels that he deserves and probably needs a fresh start somewhere else. Just shake off the injury how he's had here, go somewhere else, start off as a main man, get some confidence back in his play, start scoring some goals again, where he's going to be starting every week. We can't do that for him at Forest, unfortunately. Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, again, although, like you said, a lot depends on how often Nuno will go to this 2 up top formation. Because if it's going to be a frequent occurrence, you probably do need 4 strikers. So from that perspective, I mean, I've got no issue with him staying. I love the guy. We owe a hell of a lot to him as a football club and as a fan base. What his goals in that first season, even some of the things he did in the start of the second season before it all went wrong for him again with injuries. That some of that early season form was vital and ended up keeping us up despite the points deduction. So we owe him a hell of a lot. So I'm not mad if he stays. I just think that it's probably best for maybe him if he does leave and gets a fresh start somewhere else. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see entirely. I mean, it's whatever occurs, it's probably win-win all rounds. If he stays, great. We've got someone we know that can deliver. If we get a best version of him, if he goes, good luck to him. We go with everyone's best wishes, and I genuinely hope he starts banging them in wherever he goes.
Yeah, I mean, on the other hand, I guess it depends how the club see Cali Mwendo. Is he playing centre forward or is he playing as an extra winger? Whether we go back in for Backwoe, that was reported that we was quite close with that deal. We've not heard anything for a little bit. I know some fans might be a little bit butthurt by that, as we always discuss. I did want to ask you all about our new boy Dan and Doy, who seems to have already got a song. If you've heard it about going to Starman, I'm pretty sure you sing that with Matty Cash. Lee, what did you make of his debut from the Swiss international?
Yeah, it was. He's not a langer, but I didn't expect he was going to be. I think some people around me just presumed it was going to be like a Langer 2.0. But obviously with the bits and pieces I've seen from YouTube clips as you go and do when you sign a player, I sensed he wouldn't be. I thought he grew into the game. I thought he started probably a little bit, what's the word, tentative. I don't think he was bad. I just think he kind of just expected to slot in and then realised that it was a little bit more frantic than he's perhaps been used to. But he kind of upped his game with the tempo of the game. So yeah, I loved how he kind of just drifted off his man for the goal. I mean, Elanga doesn't score that header, let's face it, does he? Not to be that person who every time he does something good, you say, oh, Elanga couldn't do that, because there'll be stuff that Elanga could do that Ndoye doesn't. So yeah, I thought it was solid, if unspectacular. I hope that doesn't sound too harsh. He didn't get me off my seat too many times. But if you say to any new signing coming from a slower league, shall we say, like the Italian league, that you're going to score on your debut in the Premier League, you'd take it every day of the week. So yeah, I was quite excited by what's to come from him. I guess it was difficult as well because we're going to have other teams that give him more space. So it'd be interesting to see when he does get kind of more situations where he can get in behind and that sort of stuff. But yeah, solid if unspectacular. Well, I hope that doesn't sound harsh. Yeah.
Christian, your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of mostly agree with Lee. I actually felt that the goal perhaps masked, I don't want to say this to be controversial, masked a relatively okay performance. I thought, like, there was a few times where, I know I shouldn't because obviously he's gone now, but there was one time in particular where Gibbs White pinged the ball over the top and then Boy ran onto it. And I think it was Coyote just barged him out of the way. I was like, that wouldn't have happened with Elanga. He just wouldn't. He would have held him off and then got a shot off. And, and there was another time where he sort of tried to cut in onto his right foot off the left wing and was just very slow in doing so. And they were just bang straight out to him and got to him. It's like, he's going to have to adapt to the league, I think, because obviously the Premier League's going to be a lot quicker than Serie A. But, again, I still admired his willingness. I still thought that his intelligence on the ball was really good. I thought the way he was linking up play was very, very smart. I like the way even up against like a pretty quick opponent, I think in Rico Henry, who had a very good game, I must say, probably the only Brentford player that had a good game yesterday. He wasn't afraid to try and go past him and put a cross in, or he was still good. But yeah, there's going to be an adaptation period. It's not just be a plug and play fix like I think some hope we would do. But yeah, I liked what I saw. I just think that we're going to have to be a bit patient with him.
Yeah, no, I thought the physicality of him was something that was quite obvious. I think that foot race with Cody, I think Cody's actually like quite deceivingly quick, and he's gangly, man. Like I don't think Dan and Doy's coming up against like wing backs like him. So, but what I did like was his running, and he was doing it all the time. He was looking to get in behind. He was looking to make their marks runs. I think he will adapt, and I think he will grow because of now added competition as well. With Hutchinson, with McAtee, who can play there as well on the wing if you need him to. As mentioned, backward could come in. But yeah, we'll see on that front. But
I think the good thing, I think now we've signed Hutchinson. Let's say Doy does go through a bit of a sticky patch where he struggles to adapt. We can now put someone who's played a whole season in Premier League in there instead. It's not going to go, right, okay, you're going in. So it's someone we can trust, someone the club can trust, and that's what was missing last season. So it is pleasing. But yeah, I'm sure he'll be a hit. I think, like you said, I admire his willingness to run in behind. I'm sure when it comes to European nights where it's not as frenetic, he'll probably will start to see his intelligence a lot more and his quality in the ball a lot more there too.
Yeah, this next bit's going to be actually relevant because we've actually had a sleep on the game. So slept on it thoughts is actually relevant this time round. So let's get into it. First one of the season.
Red side of the Trent. Slept on it thoughts.
Oh, old logo. I'll have to get rid of that. I'll have to get our man Ian on that. That will help. Anyway, so Alex, that midfield three is sensational. Eminem at the back, superb as usual. Nico is excellent. Wood doing what he does best. Who would have guessed that pre-season means absolutely nothing? 2-star treat, phenomenal performance by everyone on the pitch. Obviously, Morgan Gibbs-White and Ando were outstanding, but I'd like to give a shout out to Sangare. Quietly went about his business and didn't put a foot wrong all game. Very unlucky for the Petton. Come on, you Reds. Tom Newton, the best midfield performance since promotion. Proper dominant control display. Scored 3 really good goals. Sangare, Anderson, Morgan Gibbs-White, unbelievable. Not going to harp on about the penalty decision against us. Be a travesty if Anderson isn't picked for England soon. Bring on Email FC. Binnett. Forest were dominant, pressing well, moving the ball sharply and winning the second balls, something that used to be Brentford's trademark. We looked well organised and Sangare really stood out, always available, distributing quickly and patrolling the midfield with authority. Gas Thomas, every player out there played like they had a point to prove in my opinion. After how season ended and proved a point, they did. You could see from the off they were well up for it, and an early goal in any game is just what is needed. Should have had a pen too. Carl Booth controlled the game from start to finish. Our midfield had the battle won after 5 minutes. Anderson, Sangare, great. Morgan Gibbs-White showing why keeping him was so important. He ran the show. Wood with 2 great finishes and great to see Ndoye get a debut goal. Perfect Sunday. Mark Baker, as great as the poor performance was, and you can only beat what's in front of you, but that will probably be the easiest game we play all season. Brentford looked like a newly promoted side, naive and out of their depth for all on the season, especially with the new signings. Garibaldi Nerve, midfield 3 were immense. Wood carrying on it as he left off. A new arrival was not even on training ground yet. Exciting times ahead. Bring on the Salty Palace. Premier Elliott, that midfield 3 was boss. It's so lovely to see to be back. All put a shift in. Great work on the pod, entertaining as all pre-season. Thank you, Elliott. And today's facts from Elliott, as he always brings them. Today's fact is breast implants were originally made of wool, but eventually changed to silicone due to women complaining about inner itchy boobs. I mean. Brilliant. Capanosity, Brentford's midfield was there to be eaten alive and Forest duly obliged. Another pre-season of misdirection and bonding from Nuno. Evidence of plan B and C better than Fulham first half in season 23-24. Encouraging they didn't sit back after scoring early. Thank you very much for everyone getting in touch. There was a bit of a theme there, guys, and it's quite good because we're going to anchor that into the next point, Christian. Ibrahim Sangare, Danny Tring sang a lot of praise for him yesterday. And he was bloody superb, and he played like he wanted to keep that shirt for if there is an incoming David. I nearly call him David Douglas Luiz coming in. I mean, they could play together personally because I think they could. But what did you make of Sangare in that midfield?
Yeah, outstanding, absolutely outstanding. I mean, if you don't want to take our words for it, because I know some people go, "Oh, they're only fans. They go to the game. What do they know?" You got Ola in there at full time on his Snapchat saying that he played like prime Paddy Vieira. So take it up with him. You're still not giving him any credit. I mean, obviously there will be an element of fans that I think are begrudgingly sort of going grumbling. Oh, he was all right, wasn't he? And even then, to a relative extent, look. I mean, if you can't see what he did yesterday on the pitch and think that's benefiting Nottingham Forest, I don't really know what to tell you because Anderson doesn't play as well as he does without Sangare being there. Gibbs-White doesn't play as well as he does without Sangare being there. His presence on that field allowed them to create so much more going forward, to carry the ball so much better. It was just his calmness on the ball as well. Like I said, in our chat, there were times on the left wing where you'd have Hudson-Odoi, Williams, and Anderson sort of together, and Brentford was shut off quite well. And then they give the ball to Sangare, who just very calmly just switch it, bang, straight out to one on the other side. You see the whole back line just sort of like trudge across to try and catch up with it. Aina can link up with Abdoy, and then suddenly Forest have got an opportunity in their hands. Gibbs White's back in the game again, and it was just so good at just ticking things over, getting stuck in, just being there, physical presence. He was absolutely immense yesterday. It's the real shame that the penalty obviously happened. It's just like a unconventional penalty as well. I feel a bit sorry for him. He's sort of like half got up to jump, half realised he can't do that with his hand, and it's hit his hand in this. So yeah, I mean, he was tremendous yesterday. I think if you're, again, like I said before, with Forest, I mean, we're talking about buying new midfielders. We're going to need someone to cover for him when he goes to AFCON, because the way he's playing, he's a lock in the team. You've got to play him. This is the player that we signed. This is the player that we thought we were getting off the bat before his the struggles he's had, like having malaria, having his ankle nearly decapitated by Bloody Sadio Mane at AFCON, sort of having to deal with changing manager, changing formation the whole time. Then he gets through. He has a fantastic pre-season last season, and he tears his hamstring. He comes back very strongly. Forest play better result. They don't necessarily get the results it warrants, but you can still see the progress being made there. Look at him, think if we can keep this going, we'll be onto a good thing here. We saw that good thing yesterday. Sangare was absolutely brilliant yesterday, and but for Anderson existing, or Gibbs White existing for that matter, he's probably man of the match despite the penalty. He was that good yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, Lee, let's continue the high phrase. Reese 2.0 in our chat put in some stats. So tackles, 100% success rate, duels, 83.3 success rate, 5 clearances, and then his passing was 25.6% forwards, 48.8% to the left, 20% to the right, and only 4.7% backwards. If that does not tell you what you need to know, then I don't know what is, personally.
Yeah, people tend to only really call on stats when it disproves an agenda they might have, don't they, I suppose? I'll try and use a different, because I totally agree with everything that Christian's just said. I'll try and come up with something different, because I thought there was 2 other bits that I really liked about him. That's the best I've seen Sangare out of possession. What I mean by that is, I think even as someone who's tried to defend him, sometimes when he perhaps doesn't deserve defending, obviously he's not always been immaculate since he first came to the club. He's taken some time to get used to the Premier League, etc. But yesterday, whenever we lost the ball, Sangare basically showed every single person in that stadium, well, 99% of them, it would seem, why we've spent 30 million to sign him. Because he literally, it was like a switch was flicked as soon as we lost the ball. He was there. Moments later, he was there, hassling, tackling, not being clumsy. He was winning tackles, as you've just said with that stat, Adam. I'm at the point where if I see once more that Sangare needs to become a box-to-box midfielder, my head is going to need to be fetched off of Mars somewhere, because Ibrahim Sangare is not just because he scored a couple of bangers in the Dutch league, that does not make him a box-to-box midfielder. He is a defensive midfielder there to break things up. An enforcer, if you like. Trying to think of the FM role for all the cool kids, but I can't think which one it would be. So, yeah, he's there to do the ugly stuff. He's not there to be...
whoever it is.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. I think they drift out wide a little bit. We're getting technical. But yeah, it's just getting ridiculous. It's getting beyond the point of... Yeah, I'm not going into why it is. We know why it is. Let's just focus on the positives. He was really good out of possession. It's pleased Christian mentioned the bits and pieces about Anderson having such a good game and Gibbs White having such a good game because of him. If you can't see that and you can't understand, I mean, again, another myth that it dispelled. Sangare can't play in a 2. He can't play in a midfield 2. Well, he absolutely bossed it yesterday. So what more do you want him to do? I'm at the point where he's going to have to chip in with 25 goals and take 6 players on every time he gets the ball to get any credit from some people. It's just gone past the point of ridiculous. And you can't have a conversation with anyone without saying, oh, yeah, but it'd be nice to see such and such a team, wouldn't it? No, it'd be nice to see a team full of players who are playing well in the team, no matter who they are. We've had it with Nico Williams before. Nico Williams is vastly improved, and now Sangare is the latest player who, given a bit of time, is vastly improved. And if people can't see it now, then it is at the point where it's just a bit of a vendetta now. It's just some people, it's just ridiculous. It's gone It's gone beyond the realms of any sort of like logic now. I don't understand what more he could have done yesterday. 100% of his tackles as a defensive midfielder, and people are still saying, "Oh, yeah, he's got a bit of a mistake in his locker, though, hasn't he? Because he gave an unfortunate penalty away."
Yeah,
come on.
I mean, I think as well, like, I think he started off a tiny, like he made one bad touch, and then after that, it was just smooth sailing. Like I really enjoyed watching his play. He moves the ball quick, and I think that's what I like about him. He's scanning, he's looking, he's like you said, Lee, off the ball. He was really good. I mean, I think it was Harry Saxton. I don't think you'll mind me mentioning this. He was like, he needed a yellow card off Sangare because he's normally a guarantee in the past for getting one. For someone drifting past him and tripping him over, because that's what he does. Because when he's getting tired, yesterday he completed 90 minutes, didn't get booked, and Eric Saxon missed out on £700. So I mean that says everything to me. I mean if he can do that, and we need to talk about that midfield because we waxed lyrical about it yesterday, so it's only right having them two in front. I think I saw at one point where they almost look like a bit of a triangle. Sangare was at the base of it in an essential midfield position. Gibbs, White, and Anderson just in front as like your 2-8 sort of thing. And I just thought they complemented each other so well because Anderson is he's just so busy. He's a bit of a narc, isn't he, in that sense, where he's just in everyone's business. I mean, he wants the ball off you if you're 3 yards away from him. He's just asking for it. He's like, give it me. And I think that's why Sangare was so good as well, because he's got that help from someone that is so willing to do that off the ball work, and they complement each other brilliantly. And because Sangare played, as Christian mentioned, them two flourished unbelievably well.
I think what's really going to bug me as well is like there will be. It's horses for courses. Football's a squad game. You play different teams. You play different styles. There will be games in the future where Sangare gets overrun by certain midfielders because they get the better of him on that particular day. It doesn't mean all of a sudden he's crap again. It just means that that's not perhaps the game for him. And with a plethora of midfielders to kind of look at your bench and go, yeah, maybe he's the man for that one today. You just know what's coming. With the midfield situation, it's good. Everyone loves Anderson. There's no bad words to say about Anderson. But who plays with him will always be a matter of certain people and certain fans think that, like I say, it goes beyond logic of having the best player there. People want their favourites to play, don't they? I just want to see Forest win games of football. If that means someone who it isn't particularly my favourite player plays every week, then so be it. That's fine. What I would say to finish on it, I've never left a game of football when a player who I might have slated in the past, who's played 90 minutes, and I've never left a game of football when Forest have won and gone, oh, it was good, but bloody hell, he still missed 30% of his passes, didn't he? I'm still not sure about him, you know. I'm just buzzing to get home and watch all the content with all the wins and the match day pass and all that. As long as there's 11 players wearing red winning a game of football, I don't really care. And I just thought some of the stuff I heard on the way out yesterday, I mean, at least we've got past the booing when his name gets read out in the Trent nav. So that's one positive. Now we just need to work on the Lady Babe.
I don't remember hearing
just
that.
picking on one little mistake over a superb 90-minute performance.
I must have misheard. I must have missed the booze in the nav, Lee.
It was one game last season, yeah. So they've gone now, which is good, which is great, yeah.
All right. Well, 234 people in here. If you enjoy what you're listening to and love Sangare, drop us a like, drop us a subscribe. Early access for future pods as well. Just a few comments to go through. I mean, Michael, hello gents, watching a Forest side dominate possession and be so positive with the ball. Wow, that was great to see. It made me a happy Forest fan. You got Jason saying, great discussion, lads. Keep up the good work. We love this pod. Thank you very much, Jason. That's very lovely. John Keogh, I know you are a member on our Patreon. I mean, please pronounce Nuno Espirito Santo in the exact way you pronounced it on the official. Why don't you go take your face and put it down the toilets? Because I will never do that. I mean, I'll try one day maybe. If we can get a few more, if we get up to 30 members, I'll do it. I'll try. That'd be lovely. Christian, I'd love to talk about Anderson and Morgan Gibbs White all day. And I mean, this is probably a better pre-match for the Everton Leeds game that's about to happen on Monday Night Football as we record this. But I do feel like there's some unnoticed people that went quite quietly about their business yesterday. I mean, Murillo was back to his normal ways again. I actually thought he was better this pre-season than he was last pre-season. But the lad's just continuing to be Beckenbauer 2.0, Maldini, whoever you want to name, whatever central defender, he is it. He is I don't use the term Rolls Royce very much, but he is one.
Oh yeah, 100% is. Yeah. Yeah, it's just great. Just great to have a player of that ability in the Forest team. Again, you never felt like anyone was going to get past him. I mean, I didn't think much of that Thiago anyway, but Murillo Milenkovic just had him like chained pretty much to their like wrist. He never got a go. He never got a sniff at any given point. They just nipped everything in the bud whenever it came to them. Obviously, Murillo overhit a few passes. You could sort of see him looking, but the vision was always there. And when they did land, it was like, Christ, what a ball that is. Again, we're just so lucky to have a footballer of that nature at the club. Yeah, again, tremendous. Like, I agree with that comment. He probably will be the first £100 million centre back, probably at Real Madrid in the summer. Who knows? But hopefully, he leaves us some silverware. If that's the case. But yeah, I mean, it's strange, isn't it? Because I mean, I know obviously Danny loves him, but what more can you say about Murillo? There's no more like superlative you can use to describe him. It's sort of we've got to a point now where an 8 out of 10 performance from him is just seen as normal. I mean, how ludicrous is that? Say about any footballer at any given point, like in your life, you say, "Oh yeah, he's put 8 out of 10." Say, "Oh, it's par for the course for him, isn't it?" He's just stupidly good at football. How infuriated
were you that Peter Banks let him take that free kick at the end?
I know, yeah. I saw the clock. I just thinking obviously if he had a bit of sense of humour, obviously he doesn't because they're all robots. Sorry, Lee. But it would have been like he could have said, "Look, either one of you just absolutely smashes this, or I call full time. What's it going to be, boys?" But yeah, it would have been nice to see him absolutely lever it probably to where Lee sits in the Trent end. To be fair, but yeah.
Hey, one thing I would say, he'd have let him take it if it was 2-1. He'd have been hoping for the counter attack. I bet. Yeah. It'd have been 10 minutes injury time if it was 2-1.
Oh, dearie me. No, it would have been fun to see him do that. He will get a distance goal, I think, before he leaves. I'm excited to see what it is and when it happens.
Yeah, he says, I mentioned during pre-season that apart from anything else, our passing had improved tenfold and it's carried on into the Prem. They just seem more comfortable with the ball. I mean, Leah, I think someone else that was a little unsung yesterday. I mean, everyone had a good game, to be fair. But I thought Nico Williams was good again. You know, like I mean, he took his yellow card, one for the team. That's how you take a yellow card, personally. Like Sharda's away from him, just hacked him down. How good does it look with number 3 on the back of his shirt as well?
Yeah, it does look good with number 3 on his shirt, but it did look really weird seeing Hudson-Odoi with 7 on his shirt. He kept looking at the 14, and obviously that's Odoi, and it just because he plays on the wing as well, it just really confused me. But yeah, I'm sure I'll get used to it. Yeah, he was good again. As I said during the Sangare, but he's vastly improved. I mean, if he improves again this season, Jesus, we have got a player on our hands. Yeah, I think it's weird, isn't he? He's right-footed, but better at left back. Which we've said all along. We anticipated that might be the case because of his ability to play there for Wales. So, yeah, he's another one who fits into that. I think there is a good vibe in the dressing room anyway, but he strikes me as that sort of person that just likes playing football. He just looks forward to every weekend when there's a game, trains hard, looks after himself. Yeah, just a really, really solid player. And this is why it's, I know people are probably the bedwetters, shall we call them, who get the knickers in a twist about Forest transfers for 23 hours of the 24, grab an hour's sleep in the other hour of the day. It's going to be difficult to sign a fullback because the two that we've got that play are so good. I mean, there's talk of Rico Lewis coming in. Where does he? I mean, it's ludicrous to think it, but where does he play? How do you have the conversation with Aina or Williams and say you're not playing? It's just impossible. So I've said all along, I think we'll use our Premier League loans on at least one of the fullbacks, and I've not changed on that, to be fair. I just genuinely think it'll be maybe just a little stopgap situation, and then we'll see how this season plays out and see if we can get... Because you just never know. There'll be fullbacks all over the world that are maybe coming up on free transfers that the club will see as backup options for Aina and Williams. So, yeah, I think that is proving a little bit difficult for the recruitment team, and it's not really hard to grasp that, to be fair.
Yeah, I know Christian mentioned Sergio Reguilon, left-footed left back, who would probably come in. Was on loan at Brentford, wasn't he? I think I'm not sure if it was last season, but yeah, I mean, I think with Nico Williams, because he played 7, 8 out of 10 yesterday. It seemed like a normal kind of scenario. Ola Aina was the same. Just kind of like it's just normal now, and it's just whether we can continue this consistency. And it's great that you mentioned the squad, because I'm going to finish off with our squad update. I've only made this today, so bear in mind it just looks a bit rushed. Time with this black screen, like I just wasn't sure how it would look. I just too quick.
It looks bloody fantastic, I'll say that.
It looks a lot better. I mean, I put Douglas Luiz in this blue because he kind of looks like he might join, and I want you in purple because we're not sure what he's going to do. Miguel looks like he's going to go back to Brazil. So I mean, Christian, this looks a lot more healthy, doesn't it? Obviously, fullbacks aside, but it looks good. Obviously, if Luiz signs, no offense to Ryan Yates, but he will go above you in the pecking order, son. That's just how it's going to go. And hopefully, I was tempted to put Backwell behind Hudson-Odoi, but obviously swap Ndoi and Backwell because they're both left-footed and play inverted. But we've not heard from that in a little while, so I was a bit apprehensive.
Yeah, it's probably wise to the back one alone. I still think we might end up getting Traore. You might see Doi use left wing a bit more, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, again, on the topic of Yates, I thought he was all right when he came on. He actually played all right yesterday. I thought when he came on, he helped shut the game down very well, won a few fouls, etc. Wasn't careless in possession, which was quite nice to see after his cameos towards the end of last season. Yeah, again, I think he much like the rest of the team, he played like he's got a point to prove as well, and he's probably right with seeing what's potentially coming in. I mean, another thing we haven't spoken about yet was how good our press was. When Dominguez comes in, you throw Dominguez into that mix as well. Jesus, like we're not going to be a fun team to play against. So, yeah, you really there's four gaps there, isn't there? There's obviously the two fullbacks, a left winger, and I know Nuno wants a goalkeeper, doesn't he, to replace Miguel properly. I assume that would be Gunn, but alas not, it would seem. So yeah, I think we're pretty much there or thereabouts. Obviously, again, like you look at it now. I mean, we're 2 weeks away from the window closing, pretty much. Hudson-Odoi is about to sign a new deal at 2028. That's fantastic news. Ina signed a new deal. Williams signed a new deal. Sale signed a new deal. Gibbs White signed a new deal. Obviously, Wood signed a new deal last season.
Murillo did as well.
Yeah, Murillo signed a new deal in January as well. Anderson's still got 4 or 5 years left. Even Sangare's in a pretty healthy position. He's still got 3 years left, I think. You're looking at we're in a good place in terms of managing a top end Premier League squad. It's just I think that's even I suppose those are the four: two fullbacks, left winger, maybe a goalkeeper. I'm sort of half looking at centre back as well. I'm just thinking if they were to get injured, Milenkovic, Murillo. I don't mind Morato. I think, again, we've said before, I think it's a bit of unnecessary flack, but could that be an area we can improve on, possibly? Obviously, Jed, very happy with that. See how he gets on. Big Willie, obviously, we'll see, again, very safe pair of hands. Love having around the club sort of thing, but is he really going to play any more than 5-6 games? Probably not. And obviously, Abbott, again, showed a lot of maturity in that FA Cup semi-final, but would he be someone that you could trust to throw in and play 5 games if someone got injured or suspended? I'm not entirely sure. That's just me anyway. I think the priorities, though, are definitely fullbacks. That needs to be resolved very quickly because let's say something happens to Hudson-Odoi, for example, Callum and Wendo can play left wing, and you've still got, say, if Taiwo sticks around, you've still got 3 strikers there, so you've got to play one up front. But if anything happens to Williams or Ina, we're in trouble. We're putting square pegs in round holes again. I do not want to see Dominguez play right wing back ever again. So.
Yeah, I mean, Lee, this squad, I mean, I've put it in the 4-2-3-1 because it's the most common formation we've seen under Nuno, but this has got incredible flexibility as well. Like, we can change it up quite a lot and attack teams in a lot of different ways. And obviously, hopefully, once all this window is done and this is a full update, then we can go from a European game on a Thursday, turn up to a game on a Sunday, say we play like, I don't know, just for example, we play Legia Warsaw on a Thursday, then we turn up and rock up at bleeding West Ham on a Sunday. You might make 6-7 changes. You go, Joe, what, we can still win the game. And that's quite a scary thought for me because it makes me excited and dare to dream.
Well, yeah, that was the goal, wasn't it? That when we finished last season, we started dissecting why we ballsed it up, for want of a better expression. That was what we said. You're looking at players, and I think not that he's going to feel that every manager's only 3 games away from the sack in the Premier League anyway, but I think what Nuno's got to get better at this year, he got a lot of flack for his in-game situations last year, and I think a lot of the time I thought that was a little bit lazy because you looked at the options on the bench and you're thinking, well, what else could he have actually done? Yeah, there was some times where he took the wrong players off, perhaps. Thinking of the last game of the season where he took Sangare off and it all seemed to go a little bit in Chelsea's favour. But this time, he's going to be looking at that bench thinking, not only is there players who can come on and do it, there's so many different variants of those midfielders and the wingers and the forwards. The in-game situations should be much better this season. But yeah, looking at that, I agree with Christian, actually. I was just looking at the centre-backs. Yeah, I'd like to see maybe, is it a bit trendy, but I don't know if it's a bit hipster to maybe wish for a fullback who can sometimes play centre-back. That'd be quite nice. But yeah, I don't know if that's wishful thinking, to be fair. I mean, I think we might find ourselves on... We love a bit of a deadline day drama, don't we, at Forest? So I wonder if, like... Do you know how Morata came out of nowhere last summer? I wonder if someone is willing to take him or Abbott on loan. Obviously, Morata more likely to go permanently, I suppose. I wonder if someone else will come out of the blue. I wonder if there is like someone who's kind of ready and willing to come, who plays at centre-back, that's just a different player to Morata. I don't know. I'm not sure what the club's thinking would be with the defensive options because ultimately, touchwood, Murillo and Milenkovic are typically reliable performers. And at the minute, I maintain that our centre-halves are probably the second best in the Premier League. So, yeah, again, much like the fullbacks, it's a difficult situation because anyone who's coming in is sitting on the bench ultimately.
Second best? Who's first best?
I'd say Arsenal's. I quite like Arsenal's.
They had a lot of trouble yesterday, but yeah, they did keep a clean sheet, I suppose.
Yeah, I think on paper. Let's go on paper.
I was wondering actually. Obviously, we were linked with that Magassa, weren't we? From Monaco.
And he can do both, can't he?
Yeah, he can play both. He can play defensive midfield and centre back. So maybe that's something we look at again. I know obviously we had a bid rejected, and Roma's sort of sniffing around now, but I wouldn't be shocked if we revisited that one.
Yeah, you got to remember Doi plays wing back for Switzerland as well, so that's also an option. I think this is what we quite like. I mean, we've bought players that can play multiple positions and multiple roles. So just going to finish up, guys. Obviously, we signed 3 players in this weekend, which is typical Forest, isn't it? I mean, I was hoping all 3 of them were signed and we could recreate the Danny Fox, Rafik Jabor, and Kevin Gomez picture and Marinakis on the pitch with them. I mean, that would have been something for the nostalgic of Forest fans. But yeah, quick word, Lee, on Hutchinson, McAteen, Kalimuendo. How excited are you? It's good that we're going to have like a bit of a full English contingent as well in there.
Well, I mean, I've got to be honest, the one I've seen most of is McAteen because he's played for Man City and obviously England 21s. Yeah, I mean, you can't read too much into 21s football, can you? But whenever I've seen McAteen come on for City, obviously it's a little bit different because he's playing with lots of world-class players at City. He looks my sort of player, works hard, quite busy, gets around the pitch well. He'll obviously have the link up with Hutchinson, Anderson, Gibbs-White already, so that's good. Hutchinson, let's not get drawn into the stats too much. He played for Ipswich. Ipswich were absolutely dire. 5 goal contributions, yeah, nothing to write home about. But what is he? I think he's 21, isn't he, Hutchinson still?
Yeah, he's quite young.
So, yeah, lots of stuff. Again, nice profile. It is a lot of money, but that's the going rate in this crazy transfer market we're in this day and age. So let's give the lad a chance. Quite excited by him. I think when I did see him for the under-21s, he likes to get on the ball. He doesn't shy. When things don't go right for him, he doesn't shy away from asking for it again. That's what he'll need to do in our team. And Callum Wendo, well, all the league and hipsters tell me that he's absolutely class. So, I mean, what I would say is Sesko went for 70 million and scored 12 goals last season. Ekatike went for 80 million, was it? Scored 15 goals last season. This kid's cost us 25 and he scored 17. So, yeah, I mean, he does look like, I mean, like I say, I don't claim to have seen him loads, but he just looks like the sort of player that if you're wanting a realistic striker to come in and eventually replace Wood, and still do a job this season as well, that does feel like a very, very, very savvy piece of business. And I think all these people that have been getting the knickers in a twist would probably agree that one will probably be the one that was worth waiting for the whole summer, I suppose.
Yeah, let's hope. Christian, any further word on our 3 new boys?
Yeah, no, it's exciting times. I thought McAtee was very good at Sheffield United. He was there again. Even when they went down, it was like the only sort of bright spark in a dire team, really. But I think, to be honest, as much as me and Lee sort of were a bit apprehensive about Hutchinson, now he's through the door, I'm a bit sort of warming to him a bit more now. I saw WT analysis did a sort of thread on him and sort of looked at his underlying numbers. They look quite good, to be fair. I mean, obviously, at face value, you know, it's what was it, 2 goals and 3 assists? I think he got something like that last season. Not particularly great. And a team that went down doesn't really scream £37.5 million. But I suppose if you look at the upsell value, if he does well at Forest, you know, we'll probably get that and more back. Should we choose to sell him? You know, Reece has been crying out for a left-footed right winger for a long time now. We've got one. Gives a bit of balance, a bit of variety. Also, I think if we were to play like Jesus, for example, when he was to drop in and the wingers sort of go a bit more inverted, that's a very strong option for us to have, say, Hutchinson and Hudson-Odoi on either sides. So, yeah, again, offers more tactical flexibility. If he can develop at the rate Anderson has, for example, then we'll be on to a hell of a winner there. Again, yeah, it just feels like Forest are a good club at the minute in terms of players who want to sort of kick on and develop their careers. Williams admittedly had a much tougher sort of arc to where he is now, as Anderson's been a straight basically missile upwards. But we have shown that if you are willing to put the graft in and sort of get your head down, listen to your manager and sort of, you know, give your all for the badge, then you will be rewarded with that because you will become a much better footballer and probably go on to much better things in the future. So yeah, hopefully Hutchinson can have that same sort of impact. As for Kalimawendo, yeah, exciting. Again, just the fact his versatility more than anything else, play across the whole forward line. You know, even with we went, say for example, the classic 3-4-1-2 formation we got promoted with and sort of utilised a little bit. We probably have more players to do that now, and he'll be one of the ones in the 2 up front that could sort of do either channel, and Wood could still just stay in the middle. Yeah, Gibbs right behind. You've got so much options in terms of what we can and can't do now, whereas we were very limited to what we could do last season. Obviously, fair play to Nuno for making that happen. So I saw Bennett in the club shop yesterday, and he was sort of saying to me, "Oh yeah, we'll be top 8." I sort of thought, really? When I sort of saw how we played, I was like, you know what, with who we're signing, and if we're going to play like that, maybe that's not too far fetched after all. Maybe we are here to stay, and yeah, fingers crossed we are.
We're going to annoy a lot of teams this season, I think. Lee, did you want to come in on it?
Yeah, I was just going to say 2 things, actually. I'm just going to put it out there that I absolutely loved. I think it was Hutchinson's brother's TikTok, where he was walking around the museum and he saw the Champions League trophy. Sorry, European Cup for the purists. And he said, hopefully we can win another one at Forest. People think that's simple. I loved it. I thought it was great. The other thing was... it's gone. I was too excited about the Hutchinson thing. Can't remember what it was now. Yeah, the top 8. I was just going to say, the top 8 will be realistic, but we'll have to have similar results against the top 6, the stereotypical big 6 as we did last season. That's the key. I think a lot of people, we had the conversation in our group chat as well, that last season was the opportunity for the Champions League because we had such good results against the top 6. The only way we'll throw ourselves into that sort of contention again is by having similar results, because I think we can all agree with our squad, teams such as, you know, the ones who finished in the bottom half last year, we'd fancy beating them, certainly at home. Our home form's largely been pretty good since we got promoted. It's just that they've all strengthened now. So those games, all of a sudden, especially the ones away where we did well against last season, they just become a little bit tougher this season, don't they? So, but we're better equipped again. So we'll just have to see. I think now we've made the signings, I'm a little bit more optimistic that we can finish top half, definitely.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I mean, if anyone wants to hear about those 3 more players a little bit in more detail, there's podcasts out with them. We've got we had Matt Kerr from City Ramble to talk about James McAtee. We had Baptiste from Le Classique pod for Kalimawendo, and then obviously we had Henry from the Blue Monday podcast, Ipswich podcast on Amari Hutchinson. So all good knowledge there, all good information as well. So if you want to check them out, they're on our YouTube, they're on Spotify, Apple Podcast, wherever you get your podcast from, or whatever. But no, great chat, guys. We've run over time. We're going to miss all the booze at Bleeding Ellen Road, so we'll get off, I guess. And thank you very much for joining us. Nearly 300 people in here. Do drop a like, do drop a subscribe. But until next time, when we bring you previews for the Cast Derby, then we'll see you then. Take care. Come on, you Reds.